We're live.
Okay. Hey, everybody. Welcome, welcome. It's Monday night. Welcome to our weekly team up call. And I'm Terry Luongo. And it's a pleasure to see so many people tonight. This is a good day for us to get together, huh? Holiday. I see Hawaii and Ohio and Florida. We got people from all over with us tonight. So, we've got a great training in store for us tonight with Jeff Olson. But before we go there, the company launched last week 100 conversations. How exciting is that? So kind of show of hands, if you want to in the chat line or raise your hand or wave at me with that little emoji that we can do. How many people have officially signed up to do 100 conversations? Oh my gosh. Oh, wow. Okay. That is so great because guys, things are changing in the world. There's always new systems. There's always new ways of doing things. But one thing that will never, ever, ever go out of style, I don't care what business you're in, is the art of the conversation. And to get good at it, guess what you need to do? You got to start. You got to start. And I think for so many of us, because of the season that we've been in, I think some of us maybe have been hiding a little bit, maybe hiding behind social media, uncertain about coming out. But boy, there's never been a season where people need Juice Plus more than they need it right now. And so it's time to be loud and proud about what we represent. But before we go into Jeff Olson, all right, Abby, unmute yourself. You've started your 100 conversations?
I have.
Any specific thing happened that you might want to share with us?
I've been having a lot of conversations with people I've been doing. So I did a booth last weekend, the first weekend in October. I've been picking up the phone a lot, and I've had a lot of great momentum and things happening. So I'm going to tell you, do the bold thing, do the brave thing, even if it feels scary and a little intimidating. A lot of good things have happened for me 11 days into October.
Okay, so are you telling us that picking up the phone at first is a little, and maybe still, share that?
Yeah, I will be totally transparent with you guys. I actually was working today towards helping a team member wrap up a promotion. And I was going to be the one to pick up the phone. And I was on the phone with Terry and Jamie, and they were talking me through it. And I was getting nervous. And so we're all still going to have moments where things feel nerve-wracking or scary. And so you just kind of have to push through those and know that there is great things on the other side.
I'm proud of you, Abby. All right, anybody else want to unmute themselves and share maybe 100 conversation that you had in the past couple of days? Anybody have anything that they want to share?
I was following up doing some routine customer calls with my genealogy, and I hadn't spoken with my friend in Phoenix for quite some time. She ended up placing 3 orders, which was totally surprising to me, but she had a new diagnosis that we were trying to help her with. So I was really glad I had the conversation with her.
Yeah, thanks for being brave, Jerry. See, guys. All right, so it's back to the art of the conversation. All right, so every week as we meet, we're going to start with who wants to share an experience from 100 conversations. And guys, it's not too late. You can still sign up. All right, so this is going to be a recorded training that we're going to share with you, but it's so good. I just had to bring it to you. It's Jeff Olson. And show of hands, how many are familiar with Jeff Olson? I mean, nobody talks the way Jeff Olson talks. He's got this energy about him that is so captivating that I love listening to him. So, he's kind of started out kind of nerdy, Wall Street techie, but before that, amazing athlete, Olympic medal winning athlete. So, he's just got this great energy. And what decision did he make with all that going on? He made the decision to represent Juice Plus. So we're going to get right into it with Jeff Olson. If you hear something that he says that really resonates with you, put it in the chat line, okay? All right, Kathy, let's see if we can keep streaming this thing.
Welcome, everyone. My name is Jeff Olson, and I get the blessing to spend the next few minutes with you. I have been in this conversation for 20 plus years. Started out as a customer, like everyone does. Became a raving fan because it was simple, it made sense, and a few other things. My background, for those of you who don't know me, is I was a professional athlete in a former life, a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. I worked on Wall Street. Then I worked in technology. And in those 3 careers, I learned 3 simple things. Athletes are ruthlessly practical. They're going to do what works. And when I saw these plant powders, I said, that is something that is going to work. That makes sense. It's simple. I can do it every day. And there's a compounding effect to doing fundamentals every day. And that's the second thing I learned in my financial career on Wall Street. I learned the 8th wonder of the world, as Einstein called it, which is the idea of compounding interest. And food does things for the body over time. And I knew that the fundamentals, there's a compounding effect, to these plant powders. So it was ruthlessly practical. I knew that there was a conditioning effect, a compounding effect that I know would play out over time. And this was 20 years ago when I first saw it. It's kind of the one thing I did right, is I kept it simple. And then in the technology industry, I learned that innovation, disruptive kind of innovation that works, makes new things that makes old things obsolete. And I saw these plant powders and I was like, oh, that is refreshing. It's simple. It's different. Think differently. That's a food-based approach. And I got it as a consumer straight up and straight away. And the rest of the story I'll get into here in a little bit. But my wife and I have been in this work for she's been in it 20 years. I've been in it close to 15 years. And so thank you for allowing me to just share kind of my perspective as a man, us being a business of nurturers, of feeding families, of nurturing people. 85% are women, 90% are women. And we as men are the minorities, and I wouldn't have it any other way. The blind spots I've had as a man, I've learned more about leadership from women in my life than men, and because this is a win-win. This is a collaborative conversation. And so, but as a man, hopefully maybe some of my views will be helpful to give a compounding sort of conditioning that interest to say, cool, tell me more. And that's really the intention of tonight, is to trick you into believing that there's something behind this. Not trick you, well, maybe trick you, whatever it takes to get you to say, I want to know more. I want to dig deeper. I want to understand if what I'm hearing is the truth, and poke the bear, Shark Tank us, get with the person. So the intention of this is to say, okay, I got my attention. I want to go a little deeper. Got my attention. I want to go a little deeper. So as Jay Martin said, sometimes it takes handcuffs to get people to an event, to get an educational exposure. And so with that, we'll kind of kick it off. I would invite you to simply kind of write down my 6 closest friends. And then you can use this as a way to kind of your own due diligence. It's who, it's what, it's how, it's where, it's when, and it's why. And in those buckets, you need to get your questions answered for each one of these things. Because what you're trying to do is manage risk and find opportunity and see what's real and see what's not, and cut through the, chafe in the grain and find what's so. And so here's what I've learned over 20 years. I get to do this business. It is a blessing. It is a privilege. If you want more meaning in your life, I've found that it involves more responsibility. More meaning, more responsibility. And the responsibility that I get up every day is, how can I gift this reality forward so that people can realize what my wife and I have realized. We've raised our children through this business. We've been a stay-at-home mom, stay-at-home dad. Seeing mommy and daddy fully alive, engaged, and activated in the world, I think is one of the greatest gifts we can give the next generation. And so with that, get these questions answered so you can come back and dig deeper and see if this is for you. We are in the world of plants. We are a plant-based company. Obviously, we've been in that for 28 years. We're a proven business model. Ambition needs a vehicle, and preferably one that's built to last. I really appreciated the focus of this company. They're not trying to do a catalog company. They're not trying to go all over the place. They're trying to do a few simple things well and be the best for the world in those lanes and stay in their lane. And I really appreciated their consumer focus, right? 85, 90% of the people who consume our plant powders and plant oils and tower gardens, they have nothing to do with our business. But for those 10% that are curious to say, cool, tell me more, but the customer focus of our company is one of the things that separates us as a company. Obviously, we're committed to the rigors of published efficacy. We stand alone. We're kind of a unicorn in that space. We will never embarrass you. If you're a practitioner, we have got your back from the standpoint of prove it. We're simple, we're sensible, but we're science driven, and the rigor of science we kind of stand with up here. And the great thing is it's kind of a meritocracy. It's open. It doesn't care about your resume, good or bad, right? I came in with a lot of baggage, a lot of resume, Wall Street, Olympian, tech guy, board of directors, all this kind of male ego kind of stuff. And it's like, this business doesn't really care about all of that history and past. So it's open to anyone and everyone, and you all start at the same point, and it's open to all. And so with that, we've been in this conversation as a company, the Juice Plus, the company, for 50 years. It wasn't called the Juice Plus Company 28 years prior. It was called NSA, but in 1993, plant powders were launched, right? Prior to that, they were in smoke and fire detectors in the 70s. In the 80s, air and water filtration. In the 90s, they said, hey, let's get into health. They stumbled upon these juiced and dried powders, a great story there. And they say, hey, this is something different. This is a food-based approach. We have pioneered categories, plant powders and oils, and certainly pioneered vertical aeroponics. And I really appreciate us trying to be the best in the world in a few simple lanes. And, as a health food company, as a nutritional company, we're a global company now, and continuing to expand. In terms of a global enterprise, to be able to be a 1099 independent contractor and instantly have the ability to do business around the world, a pretty low risk way to kind of cut your teeth as a young budding entrepreneur, as a young or any age person wanting to share this gift of health. If you believe in it as a consumer, but then be able to access people all over the world. As you can see, countries in all of North America, most all of Europe, Portugal being a country we're launching very soon, the Middle East, Australia, little bits of Asia and South America are going to continue. We're going to continue to expand. We've been growing for 20 years, and we have the next 20 years in sight to keep on growing, keep on doing what we're doing. From the standpoint of kind of a why bother? Who is this company, and what do they stand for? We believe in giving back. We certainly, from a company corporate perspective, we in the field and corporate give back to these organizations. I think we're the largest financial donor to St. Jude Hospital. My wife and I had the pleasure to do the St. Jude's Marathon several years ago. We got to tour St. Jude, and that is had a profound impact on us. Volunteers of America. We're, I think, halfway in a 5-year campaign to donate 10 million meals from our plant powder shakes, the Juice Plus Complete. Green Bronx Machine, just Google Green Bronx Machine, hit videos and watch some videos of Stephen Ritz to see how we're giving back to kids in the next generation and helping them grow up and grow green. Boys and Girls Club of America, we're committed to put a tower garden in every single Boys and Girls Club in America. That's pretty cool. In terms of kind of the game that we play, what's the sandbox that we're in? Beyond having a joy found an effort on the field of play in health and wellness, we got into this 20 years ago. Health, wellness, plant-based eating was a bit kind of on the margins. Now it's center stage. Now it is a core, really. If you don't have your health, what do you got? I lean into performance side with athletes and talk about, I educate athletes on how to condition their body to higher ground physiologically with our plant powders and recovery. But the business of health and wellness and performance, functionally what you're looking at is an economic tailwind. This is not going away. The westernized world, the aging world, from the standpoint of finding an industry with an economic tailwind, health, wellness, fitness, performance, pretty compelling, right? 6 trillion, that's a pretty big pie. How you actually monetize that can be a bit tricky. And we've distilled it down to something very, very simple, that the world has a big problem. And we have a very simple way to support that problem, way to bridge that gap on that problem. That is eating a lot of nutrient-dense foods. That's eating a lot of fruits and vegetables. And I don't care if you're an Olympic athlete, my grandmother, my spouse, my uncle, my neighbor, the greatest generation, the next generation, a type 2 diabetic or a type A person. I don't care who you are. The chances that you're eating 7 to 9 servings of produce every day are very, very small. And if you are, you're a candidate because you're walking the talk for our business. And so from the standpoint of an economic tailwind, I saw that 20 years ago, and I'm excited for the next 20 years as well. In terms of the world of work, right? The world of work has changed. To be an independent agent, you're all free agents. You're all free agents. Companies are vying for your attention, vying for your passion, vying for your work, right? And you can be an employee, you can be an independent agent, a contractor, you can have gig. So the world of work has changed. Certainly, the last 18 months have changed the way we recognize work in terms of a physical space, in terms of brick and mortar, in terms of virtual, Zoom here tonight. Because the world of work has changed and technology has been a big part of that, side gigs, second incomes, multiple streams of income, that has really been a growth area as people are trying to find not only multiple sources of income, but ways to have flexibility, ways to find more meaning and purpose. Doing well by doing good is high on the list for anyone, really. But it resonates, for young people that are trying to find, finances and fulfillment, success and fulfillment, and get these things stacked up. There's you got to stack a lot of things up and get this right. So there's a formula for success, but the art of fulfillment is a thing. And we've been able to stack a lot of these things on top of each other and make them work. The way of work has changed. Job security has changed. And so we have a pretty good track record, 28 years doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over, lather, rinse, repeat, for people to say, okay, there's a resume there, there's a record there. Why should I be interested now? Is it trending? Is it timely? Is it timeless? It's one thing to be a trending thing. It's one thing to be a timely thing, but it is a completely different thing to be sort of a timeless kind of proposition in the world. And I see this, I not only see our goods and our services that we provide, but the way that we provide it as sort of timeless, in the sense of we're certainly trending plant-based eating, plant-based growing, plant-based lifestyle. That is growing. You don't have to be a vegan, you don't have to be a vegetarian, just the world needs to eat more plants. Problem is, we stumble, bumble, mumble, fumble, and are humbled in actually doing it every day. We just don't execute well as a westernized modern world. And 7 to 9 servings for Joe and Jane average, and double digit if you're an athlete. Plant powders are a health food technology. They're a simple way to bridge the gap. That's not going to change. And I don't see that changing 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, because 20 years prior, people struggle to do it. 10 years prior, people struggle to do it. So the gig economy is an interesting economy. And if you begin to study it, become a student of the game, right? You'll understand that there's some pockets of opportunity, and there's some unique ways that you can be an independent contractor and go out and create something for yourself and own it, right? Life, liberty, and happiness in pursuit. But this idea of being a sole proprietor or an owner in something, that's really the American dream. And so all of it starts, with a thing like the iPhone, inventing this. Like, this changed Apple, right? This changed the trajectory of the company of Apple. Apple was 25 plus years old when this thing came on. We were 25 plus years old when Juice Plus came around. We are literally just getting going from the standpoint of market penetration, and the idea, the vision is plant powders are an elegant way, a food-based way to help a modern world bridge the gap wherever you are. So we've cut our teeth for 28 years with Juice Plus, the flagship being the fruit powders, the vegetable powders, and the berry powders. That's what I call the hygienic health food. It's something you take every day. It's a consumable. It's only as good as the compounding effect of it. We try to do as little damage as possible in the juicing and drying process. If you're interested in that, we've got a lot of homework for you to do, and actually how we do it, and the farmers that we use, and the pains we take to make sure that it's safe and it's simple and it's we do as little damage as possible, and then we test it. We're NSF sports certified, which is a big deal to Olympic athletes, to professional athletes. We have all kinds of professional athletes, world champions, gold medalists that take our product. We don't pay them, but they take it because it works. Plant powders work. We are the global leader in the space. Everything is built on this simple little idea, and we are the category king and queen in that lane. And because I call it hygienic health food for a reason, because from a business perspective, if you just take off your consumer hat for a moment and put on your business perspective, it's one thing to get a customer or a client, in business, but it is a completely different thing to retain a customer or client in business. My wife and I, we've had customers for 17, 18, 19 years, and they take these plant powders every day, like brushing your teeth every day. It's hygienic in the sense of it's a daily do. It's a daily eat, as we call it here in the Olson household. And that is good for the client and the customer because there's a compounding effect inside the body of plant powders, that cascade of nutrient-dense foods over time. Food does things for the body over time, but it's also good for, as a business owner, for cash flow, because oftentimes 90% of our income in the upcoming year is already kind of in the bank with the customers that we have and the team that we work with as well. And I'll come back to that in a moment. But built to last, consumable, durable, sustainable. It's one thing to have a consumable offering, but is it sustainable? I mean, does it stand the test of time and play itself out? And that has been our experience, and that's been the experience of people that I've been involved with for decades. It's built on a very simple idea: plant-based, plant first, health food. And then if we remove the water, what's left from plants? It's matter, right? It's matter that matters. And it's when I saw it, I said to my father, who was going through some health challenges, Dad, get on it. You don't eat enough of this stuff. And I knew that matter, fruit and vegetable matter, was important to his body. I brought it to my wife, and she kind of poo-pooed it a little bit because she didn't want to believe me, but she heard about it from someone else. Like maybe you're hearing about it from me and someone's been telling you about it. That third party kind of triangulation of information is important because you don't know me. There's no filter, and maybe kind of reality or truth will cut through to your head to say, okay, got my attention, tell me more. So my wife had to go out and do her own homework. She had to not listen to me, but go out, and she did. And she came back, and this is simple. It's based on a very simple idea. Fruits and vegetables are important. We don't eat enough of them. Here's some powders. And that idea of a simple change, kind of moving away from traditional, kind of milligram molecule approach to plant matter. That made sense to us as a family. She buys the groceries. We got on it, and the rest took care of itself. It ticks all the boxes: gluten-free, plant-based, non-GMO, beyond organic, we even call it, because it's tested for pesticides and herbicides, NSF sports certified. But if you look at the fruit and vegetables here in the lower right-hand corner of your screen, it's like, what part of this don't you get? The fruit and vegetable part or the encapsulation part, how we remove the water from this produce and blend it into these blends. Now, more recently, in the last 3 years, we've introduced omega. Find me another plant-based omega with omega 3, 5, 6, 7, and 9. Like, we are literally at the forefront of the industry in terms of delivering high quality plant-based omegas in the marketplace of ideas. Like, I don't know of another company that is even close to us. Now we have a recent study. I believe it's our 41st published clinical study now that is specific to the omegas and look at the omega-3 index. But pioneering with plant powders, pioneering with omegas, pioneering with the Tower Gardens, pioneering with plant powders as shakes. We have shakes, we've got bars. I've been using the Juice Plus shake mix for the last 20 years, pre and post workout for me, meal replacement for me, on the go. You'll be seeing over the next year, we're going to be coming out with even more options for the plant-based shakes. You know, shakes. Oh, I guess we're on the chewable slide here. So chewables, right? So very simple process to use apple pectin and tapioca syrup to make it into a little soft chew, right? That tapioca and apple pectin mixed with the powders makes it something that young toddlers. I use it as a snack food, but young toddlers can respond to. Our kids started out when they were young as chewable customers. They quickly gravitated to the capsules. My third daughter actually started chewing the capsules even before she could walk. We have some fun pictures of that. But again, gluten-free, non-GMO, safe, and simple. The shakes, as I said, using those for 20 years, and you're going to be seeing some more options for the plant-based shake mixes. I'm actually testing one right now. It's called Juice Plus Perform, and it's double the protein for athletes, because that's a big conversation, a bit of a protein myth in our country, but it is tasty, it is nutrient dense. You get all the protein needs, plus you get the nutrient density that does all kinds of other gives you all kinds of other physiological benefits in a shake. In terms of the simplicity, right? In terms of its sensibility, all of that is backed up, kind of rediscovering the obvious, the validation of common sense with kind of the prove it part. And that gets into speaking the language of modern medicine, which is third-party published, peer-reviewed, randomized, double-blind, placebo-controlled. Here's the summary of all that. We got to let out bedtime reading material for the skeptics. You got a trainer who knows what they're talking about, a doctor. You may run into resistance when you go out and share this with the world, because we all have blind spots. And I can assure you, the people that are poking fun at this or making fun of this, a lot of trolls out there. A lot of times trolls are ignorant because they don't know what they don't know. Bless their heart. And the world of prove it, right? Third party, peer reviewed, published efficacy, replicated with gold standard protocols, high p values, et cetera, lot there. And we're not hanging our hat on any one study. With 41 published studies now, there is the forest, right, that shows that these plant powders are getting into the body and they're doing good things and having a compounding effect. And so one of the other pieces of data that we've been able to collect beyond the clinical side is really field, like putting it into the field of play with families. And this is our Healthy Starts for Families program. It's been going on for close to 20 years, I believe. And we've collected data on 1.5 million kids, million and a half adults, and we see trend lines and data points. And this is self-efficacy kind of questionnaire. You get on this program, an adult buys it, the child gets it for free. And what are the trend lines after time 0, 4 to 8 months, 1 year, 3 years, that compounding effect of nutrient-dense food? Kids are eating and craving more fruits and vegetables. Adults are eating and craving more fruits and vegetables. That's the stat I'm perhaps the most proud of, is we're actually a catalyst, an intervention that is acclimating, training taste, or doing something inside of us, right? To have us lean into, I want more fruit and vegetable. And that's to me, you could stop there, but taking less OTC prescription medications and on and on. There's a lot of data. Invite you to learn more about that. If you're a family and you have children, we've been giving free Juice Plus to children for over 20 years. I think we've donated over $500 million in free health food for kids. 10 years ago, we saw this, Jay Martin and the executive team, and a colleague of ours from the field brought this to corporate, said, hey, we should be involved in this business. The inventor needed some help. Here we are 10 years later. This is the fastest and most successful selling home gardening system in North America. It's simple, it's safe, it's sensible, it's fun. I call it the iPad of gardening. It inspired me to launch a whole farm. We have the largest vertical aeroponics rooftop farm in Denver. If you're ever there, you can go to Altius Farms and check it out. Selling to hyper local in the Denver community, to markets and restaurants. But in terms of growing food, here's what I've experienced with my children. When they grow their own food, they eat their own food. It's like a fish tank. It's a live thing. You got to care for it. Not a lot, because I'm not a green thumb, but I became a student of this 10 years ago. It's simple, it's safe, it's fun, it's easy. And if you don't have a green thumb, you're in luck, because this thing just works, right? less water, less space, more yield, better taste, and it just keeps on working. Now, in terms of the culture, one of the things that I fell in love with early on was kind of the vision of this company and its mission, to inspire healthy living around the world. That's very plain, it's very simple, and it keeps you on point, right? It keeps us on point. The vision really comes out of the founder of this company, Jay Martin. And I would challenge you to find in any corporate vision statement, any corporate mission statement, the word stable and lasting. Find other corporate speak that has stable and lasting. And this has been in there as long as I've been involved in this company, since 2000. Stable and lasting company. To build a stable and lasting company, as I said earlier, ambition needs a vehicle, preferably one that is built to last, okay? To build a stable and lasting company that helps, who is their customer? Their customer is actually the independent agent. To help us out in the field build something that is stable and lasting, to help us realize our dreams, right? I get to do this business so that I can fulfill the things I want to fulfill on in the world, and the responsibilities that I want to come through on in the world, and the gifts that I get to pay it forward in the world. So stable and lasting, I saw that early on, and that resonated with me, and I hope that resonates with you. Now, in terms of the business model, I came in guns blazing, BS in finance, corporate, boardroom, Wall Street, tech. I thought I knew business. I knew nothing about really the elegant simplicity and how special this particular business model was. It is a very low risk proposition, right? You're not buying a car here. You're not opening a $250,000 franchise brick and mortar. It's $50 to turn the lights on. You can work from anywhere. The world of work, it's just virtual, it's live, it's both. Low overhead, no inventory. And we kind of got rid of some of the problems of the old way of doing business. You get paid to go gift this information, and we are education based, right? And the more people know about us, the more like, oh, I didn't know what I didn't know. I came in with a big ego. I had illusions of knowledge. I didn't know what I didn't know. And I had blind spots, and we all have blind spots. But I was poking the bear because I believed in this as a consumer, and I thought that this might be my ticket out of the corporate grind. And as it turns out, my wife led by example and took it on as the mom side hustle. And I was the supportive spouse. That's the one thing I did well. I supported her. And I said, honey, I believe in this as a consumer. I think this is valid. You go, and you go, girl. But I couldn't quite envision it for myself. And I began to study the business model. And I think, this is kind of a blend of various, it's not any one thing exactly. It's a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and not that, and not that, and not that. And so what the company's done, and Jay, coined it brilliantly as a kind of a virtual franchise. Right now, online is everywhere, but back in the 90s, virtual was kind of novel. But the idea of belly-to-belly relationships, the oldest kind of business in the world, the idea of systems with franchising, kind of systems and operational efficiencies and division of labor, right? The idea of network marketing, I was resistant to that. And look, network marketing has gained a bad reputation for a very real reason, right? And some of those problems with that model, high front-end loads and buyers club, we got rid of all that stuff and said, we're consumer focused. But that idea of revenue sharing, which is not a novel business principle, revenue sharing, but collaborative profits, partnership profits, collaborative income, that's the way to scale income beyond your own ability to produce it. Now, most people don't do that. Most people are just kind of affiliates. They're kind of ambassadors, and they retail, right? And so I understood the leverage, right, that could be created from network marketing, or aspects of it, that revenue sharing. And then corporate America, what are the advantages of corporate America? I'll come back to that one here in just a, well, it's the next slide. Find me another company in the gig economy. I call it the gig plus economy that offers a full corporate benefits package for a 1099 independent agent. In 20 years, I haven't found one. I'm sure they're out there, but we have been pioneering that as a business model and as a benefit for 1099 independent agents to have a full corporate benefits package. And my wife and I, we've had full healthcare, medical, dental for 16 years now, and we are card carrying members because I've broken a lot of bones and I play hard and my body bangs up. One of the best benefits packages out there. And I don't know of another company that works with a field in a 1099 independent agent relationship that offers that kind of benefits. So kind of in closing, it kind of starts with you and your own belief in it as a consumer and where you go from there. Once you understand it, you believe it, you kind of want to start sharing it with those that you care about. That's how it started for my wife in our neighborhood with moms, and moms on a mission. I'm a dad on a mission, but moms are nurturers. And there's a reason most of the people in our business are women, because women are nurturers. And once they find something that works for their family, they want to share that gift with others. And so you go out and what you want to write down is we do kind of two things. We retail and share goods and services, right? And we revenue share with people that want to do the same thing, right? And you can start out and just start gathering some customers. And that's how we started. That's how everyone starts, just getting a solidified customer base. This whole thing is we kind of deconstruct the elephant and break it down into bite-sized digestible chunks. And what you're looking at here is put one foot in front of the other. And some people like that, get in front, put one. I was kind of a big picture. I'm like, show me the end game. Show me how I can retire out of my corporate job. Show me how I can do this with my wife. Show me how I can be a provider and raise a family this way and put my kids through college this way and create leverage. I was the big picture. My wife's more detail oriented, and we have a whole detailed way for you to just put one foot in front of the other. But what you're looking at here is nothing more than going out and building a solidified customer base and then helping others that want to do the exact same thing. Go out and build a solidified customer base. Lather, rinse, repeat. And that's really it. And so it starts by, becoming a customer, getting on it, consuming the plant powders, the omegas, trying out a Tower Garden, see the pros. And if you become a raving fan like we did, and you believe in it, like belief changes everything. One person with it, as I say, is worth more than 99%. 99% of people only have interest. Like belief is it, man. And we believe in it. My wife's like, other moms need to know about it. I said, my mom needs to know about it. My dad, he was already on it and going, but you want to start gifting this out. And that starts, and then you meet someone, hey, could I do this too? You absolutely don't have to be an expert. And experts, oftentimes, it actually hurts you, because if you're an expert, people look at you as like, I could never do what you do. So like lean into the fact that you're not an expert. Most of the major earners in our company are not health professionals, right? And so that idea of just gifting this notion of some novel, cool technology like plant powders, you can be paid very well in over time, right? And there's a compounding effect to this income, the leverage that you can create if that's what you want. Most people, they just have a customer base and that's all they will ever do. And think of that as just kind of the affiliate income market, affiliate marketers. That's most of the people that join us. So in the first few months, low risk, $50, you wake up one quarter from now and you're making, got a couple grand in your pocket. You got $1,000 in your pocket. How would your life change if you could earn, $500, $600, $1,000 a month cash flow? And it keeps going, it keeps going. That a customer base that's solidified, that's taking plant powders every day, reordering, like that's a sustainable cash flow. I have fun exercises with men or women or people that are in the financial business, and they're talking about 401ks and retirement. But really what you're trying to get is sustainable cash flow in life, whether you're not retired yet, or you're retiring or trying to retire. Sustainable cash flow is something this company has got a long track record providing for us in the field. So in closing, where do you see yourself? You can just be a customer. That's cool. That's where everyone starts. A lot of people that's great, man. Get on the plant powders, start using them, start studying, start researching, start doing your homework, or not, just become a customer. If you want to offset your cost, that's why we got in it. We got in it to offset the cost of a family of 6. And my wife's like, oh, I could earn a little extra side income and subsidize our own personal consumption. She didn't have any grand plans, and I was working as a corporate guy, working for the man, doing that corporate ladder thing. And she said, you know what, I'm going to take it on and just earn enough money to offset. And that's what we did. But then she started having fun, and she had happiness in the pursuit. And it was, and lo and behold, we wake up 5 years later and she's a national marketing director. We have healthcare benefits, and she actually was able to retire me out of the corporate grind. And I've joined her since, and I've never looked back. You can do a little, or you can do a lot. And we love everyone, anyone and everyone. We got people making, big money per second, and, a little bit per year, and everyone in between, right? And we welcome anyone and everyone. So with that, I will just say that, my belief in this company is stronger than ever. I believe more in the next 20 years than perhaps the last 20. I believed in the first 20, but we're just getting going, I feel, because plant-based eating, actually doing it is still a struggle. I believe in the people of this company. I believe the people in the field. We have got each other's back. And I believe that the world needs what we have. I envision us putting plant powders on the global map. Here's what I envision. The world will know of plant powders because of our company. The world will know of plant omegas because of our company. The world will know of vertical growing residentially because of our company. Right? We're leading in that area, and we have no intention of relinquishing that lead position. And we put ourselves in a position to keep on keeping on. So our job in the field is to keep on the blinders, stay in your lane, and keep doing the work, which is talking to people and educating and inspiring them to take action. And so I am passionate about this work. This is good work. I want to thank you for your brief few minutes here tonight. Get with the person that had you listen to this, and go deeper and get the questions answered. You get your little yeses answered, or your little no's answered, so you can ask the bigger yeses and the bigger no's. And the more you do that, and the faster you do that, you're going to get to a place where you're going to go left, or you're going to go right. You're going to go jump on the bandwagon with us and roll, or you're going to move on. And that's going to be effective for you and effective for the person that brought you here tonight. So get on with it, get engaged, get in conversation, because all possibility occurs in a conversation. So thanks for your conversation tonight with me, and I wish you all well. God bless. Take care.
All right, that was long, but he's so contagious, isn't he? I walked away. I'm going to start using that compound effect in more conversations. Show of hands, how many appreciate that whole compound effect piece? That is so cool. But wasn't it worth staying on just to hear Jeff say the world will know about plant concentrates because of our company? I mean, look at people, they'll know about, omegas, without fish because of our company, vertical farming because of our company. Wow, that makes me proud, so proud. Anybody have any takeaway that they want to share before we say goodnight? Well, then, having said that,
I will be saying more plant powders.
yeah, just isn't that fun? Plant powders, yeah, it's a great way. It's a great way to catch somebody's attention. Thank you, honey.
I love
And in the he said all possibilities occur in conversations. With the 100 conversations, what do we have to lose?
That's right. Possibility occurs in conversations. Absolutely. I think that's where I got that from. I've been posting that. I think I must have gotten it from Jeff. Absolutely. Anybody else have anything they want to share before we say goodnight? Gosh, it's so good seeing so many of you this evening, and we stream this into Team Up. So lots of good nuggets. Thanks for showing up on Monday night, and see you next week. It's conference week, but we're going to get together next week because I want to keep revisiting the 100 conversations and see where we're going with that. All right, guys, peace and blessings. Have a good one. Sweet dreams.
Thanks, Terry.
Good night.